We're live. We're live, Kim.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. As you can see, we are, well, the three of us are here. We're missing one of our counterparts who is the show is centered around. Steve is on his drive to the gig conference in St. Louis. So he's not going to be here tonight. So I call this the Gary, Hannibal, and Kim Takeover show tonight. So we'll introduce everybody. So Gary, no, other side, this way. Gary from Middleton Technology is right here, and Hannibal from Hannibal is Hungry here tonight. So welcome, everybody. And Gary is going to kick us off with our topics because we're going to kind of wing it tonight.
Yeah, we're definitely going to wing it tonight. We're not as well structured as Steve, so we didn't even get the thing is, he didn't even send an email like he normally does. He normally sends us an email, says, hey, here's your topics, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I got to hurry up and read them right before the show. He didn't do that today, so I had to go find his website, uberlifttravelers.com, and then look up the topics. Me and Kim was shortly talking about this one right before you got in here, Hannibal. Uber Eats is launching what they call a refreshed grocery delivery service with new app features for consumers and retailers. Looking over this article, it's a very short read, but the things I noticed is they're going to let you order when the stores close for next day delivery. Mm-hmm. They're also going to add in an item replacement option, which is strange to me because I thought they already have that. I don't do shop and pay orders, so that's not in there yet, Kim?
Not that I know of. Whenever I do a substitution for Uber Eats, usually you have to contact the customer once they send a picture of your replacements, and then the customer has to text you back and let you know what they want as their replacement, and then you have to manually enter it in. I don't know. It's a very weird process. It's not like DoorDash or even, Shipt or Spark or any of those. It's a very strange process. What I thought was nice is they actually have barcodes, because when you do a shop and deliver for Uber Eats, they just show you the picture and you're like, oh, I guess this is it. And there's no check and balances to make sure that the customer is getting what they're looking for. So I thought that was actually a nice added feature that they desperately need.
That's what kind of threw me off.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, that's what kind of threw me off reading this, because I thought that it would already have all these features that the other apps have. Like I said, item replacement directly in the app, giving you an alternative backup, and then, of course, the barcodes and things like that. And I'm like, why wasn't that already in the app? All the other apps have it, so why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's a very, like I said, their shop and delivers. They pay really well. I love doing their shop and delivers. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's not very, to me, it's not user friendly from a driver's perspective. So it should be interesting how they maybe, and I'm assuming this is because of the whole corner shop integration. They kind of need to get with the times to make sure that people who are doing these big shops are actually doing it right, because there literally is no check and balances when you do a shop and deliver, especially if the picture isn't right. And I've had that happen a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, you guys both probably, put the story together, and your perspectives make sense, where Uber Eats is trying to take it seriously now, and they're trying to compete with other shop and deliver apps like Instacart. Like when you're reading the features, it's like Instacart has been doing this for I don't know how long. So I agree with you, Gary. This is stuff that should have already been placed in there. Like the idea of we can order food, like groceries, for delivery the next day. I'm like, well, Instacart did that from the moment I used it as a customer. I was able to, if I wanted to, order something for it to come in the next day. So yeah, they need to get up with the times. I guess this idea that taking the shopping apps more seriously I think that's what they're all doing. That's why it's so interesting how Instacart hasn't been able to separate themselves. Like that's all they were doing at one point, right? Like they were like the start of shopping app, right? You shop and you get groceries together. So it's funny how the other apps are catching ground and Instacart just been lagging. But yeah, it makes sense to have these additions. It's helpful, obviously, for everyone involved. The idea you had to take a picture and kind of guess what the product is. Like the few times I've done Instacart shops, there's many times where I confidently thought what I got was the right thing. And then I was scanning, I'm like, no, wrong flavor, dummy. I'm like, oh, okay, it's over here. Like the scanning the barcode makes a big difference because
It does.
I'm a man, so I'm going to grab the box that said Cheerios. And if it doesn't say something else or whatever, I'm going to grab it and assume it is. So the scanning the barcode is extremely important. But yeah, it's at least positive news, I would say. At least it's some upgrades for the Uber shopping experience.
My question to this, when I was reading this, though, it looks like there's going to be now a separate app just for grocery delivery from like the customer's end. So does that, I guess my question is, does that mean that there's going to be a separate app for drivers for groceries? I was a little confused on that because they were more talking from the customer's end that there's going to be a separate app just for the grocery entity and not combined with like the Uber Eats app. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Whenever I read it that it was just going to be Uber Eats, not a whole new app.
Okay, maybe I misread it.
Because it says grocers on the Uber Eats platform will see improved capabilities. So to me, that says that's going to be in the Uber app itself.
Okay, maybe I misread it.
I would assume so. You want to try to keep the customer experience as simple as possible because many customers need a simple process to order all types of things. So I noticed, for instance, like I'm still get Postmates emails, right? Like they still use that platform, that brand for ordering food, even though, like, you know, for most of us, Postmates doesn't necessarily exist. So I am wondering, I know they're integrating the Corner Shop with, you know, with the Uber Eats. Are they just going to stop Corner Shop entirely? The emails, the branding, because Postmates is still around. I know Uber bought them out, but I still get Postmates emails giving me discounts for food delivery. So I'm wondering, is it going to be similar to that, or?
I don't know, but I still get orders that actually say Postmates on them when I do an Uber Eats order. Like sometimes you'll still get Postmates as like the order, but I'll come through with Uber. And like the same thing, not that I'm comparing them, but a little bit like DoorDash, like I still get caviar orders with like the C on it. So I don't know whether it's going to be kind of like the same concept, like they might just put in the symbol to say it's a corner shop. I don't know.
They have no faith in customers to say, hey, there's no more caviar. It's DoorDash. Get what, you know, DoorDash, download the app. Like they won't do that. They just assume if you give them any kind of obstacle, they will go on their caviar app, realize it's not working, and then they'll order Uber Eats. Like I think that's the fear of all these companies keeping, like I said, caviar. I'm sure it's probably Drizzly still somewhere where you order some kind of alcohol. It's just weird that they have no faith in a customer, you know, educating them to say, hey, this app is done. This platform is done. Let's move on to the bigger one that you know. Like it is interesting to me.
It's funny you should say Drizzly, because the other day I was driving and I got behind a van and it was like a local wine company and it says deliver with us through Drizzly. And I'm like, huh, I didn't think Drizzly was still around. And I'm like, that's weird. And I'm like, I didn't go in like research it further, but I'm like, I want to kind of go to their website just to kind of see what they say about Drizzly, because I'm like, I didn't even think that was a thing anymore.
I bet you could still order from there too. Yeah, it's
See,
still there.
I think that Uber's probably going to be switching. Like the customer side's probably going to stay the same, but the driver side, like Postmates, is probably going to switch over to the Uber Eats app, because Uber does like to have one app for everything. But you know, they'll probably keep all the customer side as far as Corner Shop and Drizzly and all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. But positive news from Uber Eats, though. I mean, I don't know. Can't really complain about it.
Yeah. I think it's positive
I mean,
news. Like I said, I feel like it's
yeah.
one of the hardest apps to do a shop and deliver with. So if they can make the improvements, that's going to help, like at least from the driver's end. I think it's also going to help customer service because people aren't going to be getting the wrong thing. And I think Uber Eats is also the ones that show you the picture, but also don't show you like the UPC code. So it's not like you can even match up like the UPC to like the UPC on the box. They don't even do that either. So a nice upgrade would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sounds like you're going to go on. So, like I said, I don't do shop and delivers. I hate shop and delivers. But again, if I was to do one and I couldn't scan the item or anything like I used to do shop and delivers for Instacart when they first came out. Back in the glory days, and they were great. And even back then, we still picked up the items and we scanned everything, even weights and all that stuff for Instacart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very surprising that Uber does not have that. So
Yeah.
good thing that they're moving forward in a positive direction.
Word.
So, anything else to add on that before we move on to the next one?
No, I think I get it. It's finally positive news from like one of these apps. I feel like a lot of times we're talking about like the bad things. We sometimes miss over the good things. So yay, positive news.
They're tired of people not going to shop their app, is what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, the next story we got here is, and this is surprising that it's even a story because it's been around in Florida as long as I can remember. But it says DoorDash delivers beer and wine right to your door, and here's how it works. And the story just kind of breaks down how you can order from DoorDash, and you got to upload your ID. The driver's going to have to scan the ID and then make sure it's actually you and you're not drunk, things of that nature. But like why are all these stories coming out now? This is stuff that's been around forever.
I guess it
Yeah.
depends on the area, right? It depends on
I
where.
don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something that people. I feel like people. Well, I can't say everywhere, but where I live, everyone's using these services to get alcohol delivered. And I know there's many drivers across the country, especially in the gig community, where they're still apprehensive of even taking an alcohol order. I don't know why. Like, I'll be honest. Yes, I've had maybe of all the alcohol deliveries I've done back, in my day, 2 annoying experiences. But I've had annoying experiences delivering food to people or doing shopping for people. So I feel like that's more on the just delivering food. You're gonna have some good experiences and bad experiences. Probably more good than bad. But yeah, everyone should know it. I think it's a good way of making money. You don't have to carry so much things. Usually the payouts are good. It's a quick in and out situation. They already have it set up. You go in and they already have the bottles ready. I have the problem with alcohol deliveries. I think it's one of the few things that, most people have their ID. I know the whole issue is, do they, you make sure to get the ID. Most people will have their ID. They'll maybe forget and be like, oh, sorry. Like, and in terms of drunk people, I haven't noticed it. And then some people could really do well of hiding their drunkenness. I don't know. As long as you sentient and you answered me and you show me your ID, I scanned it, take your stuff. This is your decision. Like, your life decision, whatever you want to do with this alcohol. As long as you're not stumbling and falling over yourself. I'm not a bartender. I'm not serving you drinks all night. It's a difference between, I think, the bar situation where you're spending a long time with a person. And you're like, okay, I'm cutting you off. Rather than I'm beating you for about 15 seconds. Like, as long as you don't look like a slob right now in front of me, take it and go, I've done my job. But people should know about it and should use it. I think I've used it. It's a pretty good service.
Sorry, Hannibal, I don't do alcohol delivery. I think we talked about this, but I don't do alcohol delivery just for safety reasons. I think from a woman's perspective, I mean, I'm sure there's women out there. I just don't feel safe, especially at night. And I do a lot of nighttime deliveries. I personally don't feel safe doing alcohol deliveries, so usually I shy away from them.
Okay. Gary, do you avoid them as well?
No, I actually don't. I don't have a problem with them as long as it's during the daytime. Like late night, you're probably going to get a lot of drunk people.
Right.
and that's something that I've always tried to steer clear of. But as far as delivering them during the day, I mean, like I said, we've had them in Florida for as long as I can remember, and that's why I don't get why the news is making this big story about it now.
Hmm.
Like, oh, you can finally get alcohol delivery. Well, for the last 3 years at least,
I
I
was
know
gonna,
of lots of states that you could do that in.
I was gonna say, hasn't this been around for? I feel like since pre-pandemic, I feel like we've been talking about alcohol delivery and doing alcohol delivery and step-by-step instructions. Am I making that up?
In the chat, Christopher Taylor said the article is I guess the concern is DoorDash is changing their alcohol verification systems. Are they changing it? And they're saying too many drivers are not scanning the IDs as they're supposed
Well,
to. I mean, I'll say this.
that's
I will say this, where, and this does have happened, where if you can't scan it, you can manually put it in. And there's times I probably misspelled the person's name or got one of the dates wrong, and it just goes through. DoorDash doesn't even say anything about it, and that has happened. So if people are having issues scanning and manually putting in, it may be a problem. But yeah, the alcohol verification system. I mean, what's the change?
well, that's what I was wondering too, because and I get some markets it's probably a change.
Hmm.
Before the pandemic in Oklahoma, I don't ever remember doing any alcohol deliveries, but in Florida I did. And it was the same process. You would show up, you would ask them for their IDs, you would scan it if it would scan. 95% of the time it would not scan, and you would just flip it over, enter the information it asked, and hit submit. And like you said, you could misspell or put in a wrong date and it was still accepted.
Right.
So I'm guessing it might be a change for some markets. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe that alcohol delivery is a great service because it gets people off the road. You can sit at home, you can get drunk, just kind of like rideshare. It's great for the communities because it gets the drunk people off the road. It's just, to me, I find it strange that they're just now pushing for this now instead of whenever it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the positive things. I know, in terms of, I think, Kim's view on just safety, and I think others is it could be safety and just don't want to deal with the ID situation or having a problem, or the ID you have to make sure or verify the person is of age, they're not drunk in front of you. I guess they don't want to deal with that. But I don't know. I would say, like my experience, even the two that went wrong, one was the woman didn't have her ID, but she clearly she was over 21, and she just was very disorganized. She just wasn't organized with her stuff. And the second was just weird, where this person put an address to come to basically a park, and like it wasn't a house. And I'm looking around, I'm like, what's happening here? So I had to take that alcohol back, which was very annoying. I mean, I got paid for it. That's only two. Other times I've had wine, hard liquor. Usually they're pretty nice. They're in a good mood. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great. Like at least the experiences I've had. So I mean, I wouldn't say take one alcohol delivery. Not you, Kim, but if anyone who's like still thinking about it, to take one and just see how it goes. It may not be as it may not be a big problem. I don't know.
Yeah, Kim, just take one. Just one, Kim.
We'll take a shop and delivery, Gary.
All right, which one would you rather take, Kim? Alcohol delivery or shop and pay? Oh, you already do shop and pays, but
I like shop and pay all the way.
Instacart or alcohol delivery? Yeah, do one.
Really, Hannibal? You had to go there? They're both bad. Honestly, alcohol over Instacart.
Wow, this car's you've been talking to Steve. You've been hanging out with Steve a lot. That's what you get that from.
You know what? I know Kim said she doesn't follow anybody on Instagram, but there's some there's some people that I've seen on Instagram that are doing Instacart, and some of them are making some serious money. Like I don't know why Steve hates it so bad.
There's one YouTuber, I haven't watched him in a while. I forgot, I think his name was like Tatvar or something like that. And I think he must be in the DMV area, like Washington D.C., Virginia, like those pretty high. It's a lot of high income neighborhoods, and you can see his payouts. They're pretty impressive. But again, he's around DC, and like those are very high income areas, and they will spend money on groceries. So if you know, we always keep saying this, and I know a lot of people probably get annoyed when you say it's about your area, it's about your market. It is, because you can have someone flexing great payouts, and you're like, how on earth? And it may be portrayed that that person just has the secret tips and strategies. He just knows how to work the system. He could just be, he was born there, he lives there, right? His parents was the geniuses that lived there, and he's in an area where he turned an app, and people with a lot of money are spending money on groceries. That could be mainly it. He may have the hustle, obviously. You want, you know, the hustle and the determination to go out there and, you know, work 8-12 hours Instacart, but it could be just simply of where you are in the world, where certain opportunities are coming and going, you know?
I feel like we can do like a whole show, would you rather, in gig terms. That would actually be kind of interesting.
I would at least try anything. I've tried it. Yeah, I have. I've tried the shopping stuff. I've tried, you know, food. I tried a little bit of everything. Like, I would try Flex, but Amazon Flex, but it had me in Jersey. I got to move the market to where I live. But I always try at least everything once.
I need to take your New Jersey one and use it for me, because I've been on a wait list for almost a year.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Just saying.
You haven't tried on that mask behind you that I asked you to like 3 months ago.
It doesn't fit my faces. Yeah, I think it's a kid's mask. I don't know why you put that up. That's so weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I see it every time. I'm like, oh man, that would just be cool. Just
put that.
Never know what's gonna happen, Hannibal. Come on.
I watched that movie. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Instacart. I just when Instacart first came out, they came out as a direct send to the drivers. You know, kind of like the Uber Eats is. It directly sends it to you. Ever since they switched to that round robin, and you really can't get any of the good ones because all the bots.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's terrible. It's a terrible setup now. I think it was better the way it was. That's just my opinion. I didn't hate shopping, because I mean, I'm picky about what I take anyways. Even with Spark now, like I won't go more than like 4 miles. So, you know, it'd have to be low miles and low count, but for high pay for me to take an Instacart.
I hear you.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, there's just the rest of the article is just telling you actually how to order alcohol through DoorDash. So I'm not going to read you that boring stuff there. Yeah. Hey, Nova. Somebody asked a question about where is Steve. Steve is driving to the gig conference in St. Louis. So he is on the road, and he's somewhere in a field eating some corn in Kansas or something like that. I don't remember his exact words, but he's on the road.
Actually, after this, I'm going to be heading out. So like I'm doing like a late night, because I slept all day. So I had like a really good like midday. I just, you know, I'm like, okay, let me prepare myself. This is drive through as fast as possible, and at night just chilling. But I'm excited. It's gonna be a fantastic time. I know you're gonna be there, Gary. I know Kim couldn't have been there, but hopefully be there next year. But it's gonna be a really awesome experience. It's more, you know, I'm meeting up with so many people that I've talked to for hours, literally on, you know, these streams, or talked to on texts, and phone calls, and emails. So it's just an amazing experience, just everyone coming together. And it is really funny, because I remember talking to Pedro probably, almost a year ago. They're like, hey, you actually gonna do a gig conference? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, yeah, sure. All right, cool, man. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be great. I'm like, all right. And I can't believe like he actually was able to, you know, and the longer, like early, the more it came to the time of, you know, it's happening, he was like, actually got it done. So I'm actually really proud of Pedro and what he was able to put together. But so yeah, it's going to meet up so many people. I think Bud Soda driving over there. Oh, he's actually Bud Soda is actually.
Yeah, he's there today. He said.
So you know, I think is it like, a handful of like people that I've spoken to like so long. Even people who are in the comic section, people who watch our videos. It's going to be a fantastic time. I can't wait.
Now, are you driving there or are you flying?
I'm gonna drive. I kind of put that out there. I was supposed to actually have like one of my family members with me, but they backed out. So Gary, you all right? Okay. Oh, there he goes.
I'm in a hotel room. If you guys can't tell.
yeah, I can see a little bit.
And we know how Wi-Fi is on these hotels.
You mean that's not your normal decor in your house?
No. I mean, it is a pretty picture, though. I mean.
But I'm gonna drive. It should be fine. I mean, I've drove 12 hours before. So it's just I'm gonna take my time. I wanna it's more me just driving, chilling. I'm taking this like a little mini vacation actually. So
that's what I'm doing with it too. I had my birthday yesterday. My anniversary is tonight. So we came up to Branson, Missouri first, and we're doing everything here. And we got here on Tuesday, and we're going to leave tomorrow morning. And on our way to St. Louis tomorrow, we're actually going to go. There's a place that you can drive through the caves, and we're going to go drive through the caves and check that out and everything like that.
That sounds like fun.
Right? So I said, better than walking for sure. I hate walking.
Wait, and you saw you saw a circus act the other night, right? Is that what I saw on your Instagram?
Wait, Tom, you say you don't follow my Instagram.
I said I don't see it every day.
Yeah. Tuesday night, whenever we got here, we went and seen the Shanghai Circus. And it actually worked out because I booked it on Groupon. And I was like, well, we'll find it once we get there. We get to the hotel, and it's actually the building right next door to my hotel. So I was like, that is perfect. Dang, I just walked over there.
Win-win right there.
Yeah, especially and I was expecting a crap show because it was $12 on Groupon, and I was like, yeah, it's something to do the first night we're here, so we ain't got to run around town and everything like that. But it was actually great. If you looked at, I know Hannibal's seen it. I think he liked it. But I mean, it was the circus act. They were jumping through hoops, doing the little rope thing with the lady, and she do down, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they're independent contractors as well. They got their gigs. Actually, probably not. They're probably signed to the company. I'm thinking because I know
it's probably a group performance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a fun time, and then let me say I went to a what do they call it? It was a car museum is what it was, but it was for all the movies. They had all the Fast and the Furious movie cars and the Batman movie car, and that was really cool.
Which movie? All of them?
No. It was the older ones. It's on my Instagram. You can go check it out.
I gotta check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's on there. It's the older Batman movie, like the pow and when they put the stuff up on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very interesting outfit he had on. I mean, compared to now,
Yeah. Yeah, spandex.
You gotta need maneuverability. You gotta be flexible.
Right. And so, let me see. Went and seen Dolly Parton's Stampede. That was very interesting. I was like, well, why did they call it a stampede? And then they kind of corral everybody into one little area. I was like, oh, this why? That's
a little creepy.
Yeah, I actually had the best soup that I've ever had there. Their soup is amazing.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but have you ever heard of medieval times?
Yeah,
I actually want to go. Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, Jersey. I gotta go. My son. Yeah, it's really been bothering me.
This is
he would love it.
This is the country version of medieval times. Because it's Dolly Parton. It's Dolly Parton. Yeah, well, it is because instead of having knights fighting each other, they did the North versus the South.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does the South
know
win?
Who Dolly Parton is, right?
Yeah, the one with the singer, but she's. I mean, you get
Yeah,
it.
the one with
Totally
those
were gonna
things.
say
Yeah,
something else.
yeah. Go.
Well, you know what I was gonna say, but I stopped myself because Steve Rideshare. This is a family entertainment channel here, so. But I am fully aware of Dolly Parton. I'm a fan. Bye,
Go ahead,
Gary.
No,
Okay.
I'm here.
But yeah, that actually sounds interesting. Actually, I've never been to like one of those like the medieval fairs, those Renaissance fairs. I would love to go. I haven't been to any of those, but that actually does sound entertaining. Actually,
We did medieval times all the time as class trips when I was in school. I can't believe it's like still going like strong over here, but supposedly it's a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't. I enjoy it. I didn't think I would enjoy it just because, like, in medieval times is the exact same way. They kind of shove everybody in this waiting room, and then they put you out on this whole row that. Go ahead, man. She's trying not to interrupt the stream.
Hi.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Kim and Hannah will say happy anniversary.
You gotta do this. I know. So many years, like
long time. How
strong
long,
woman.
Okay, 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I mean, medieval times is the exact same way. They shove you in this waiting room, and then it's all group seating. So you get in a row, and you're just sitting next to people you don't know. It's not like individual tables or anything.
Oh, Thomas had a really good comment. He says Dolly has a great voice.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, you and Hannibal on the same page on that.
Well, we're all on the same page on that.
Yes. Now she's actually. I don't know if you guys ever know anything about her. She's actually very.
I love Dolly Parton.
Too. She is very nice, very charitable, and so, like
she's
I said,
big into charities. She's like a superwoman. I swear. Between all of her, God, how many Grammys does she have? And charity in her movies, like she's a pretty amazing woman.
Yeah. All right, before Steve kills us, let's get back to this gig stuff.
It's just like I'm never leaving these three in charge ever again.
I know. Last time we had like a 45-minute off veering from gig stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. I gotta mix it up. It's like a Sunday Funday show, but Thursday.
Steve, here, we'll just say this. Steve, you don't like the show, feel free to jump on at any time. The next article he has here, which me and Kim was discussing, we don't really understand this article. It's the 3 ways the gig economy helps businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to tell you the 3 ways. And one is by labor, another's tech in the workforce, and inflation.
Mm.
Kim, you was saying something about it before the show. Did you want to start with that?
The one thing that stood out for me, because I feel like I fall into this category, is a lot of, and I think Gary and I fall into this category, a lot of generation, I think we're Zers. Is that right, Jerry? I think we're Generation Z. Is that right? I think it's right. Whatever a generation is, it's the one after the baby boomers.
Is it Z or X? I don't know.
No, it was baby boomers and
I'll Google
millennials.
It.
Oh no,
we're in between the millennials and baby boomers.
X.
We are Generation X. That is 1965 to 1985.
There we go. Yes. Generation Xers. That's what we are. And baby boomers. They were finding out that a lot of people, when they stayed home from the pandemic, kind of did a lot of soul searching and realized that the career path that they were on or the jobs that they were on were not working out for them, or they completely changed their mindset of what they wanted to do and became gig workers in the gig world because they figured out that they could have like basically a quality of life and do something different until they figured out what they really wanted to do. And that's how kind of the gig economy boomed during the pandemic for other reasons too, but it has also caused, right now unemployment is one of the highest things, like it's highest that it's been in God forever, but people are flocking to gig economy. But a lot of these companies also, which I actually found interesting, they are using gig workers now, or 1099 workers, to fulfill some of the jobs that they have available, so they don't actually have to pay W-2 employees to actually come and do the work for their company. So they're using it in a different way to help them, kind of staff some of their workers. So it's interesting. But that's the only thing I really got out of it. The other ones, I'm like, eh.
Okay, so you said it helps, and businesses, it doesn't matter like small or large. Like in terms of the article, it was talking about business in general. You said labor, inflation,
businesses. Yeah,
I would say that it's a fine line, right? Yes, I think if you're a small business, let's say if you're a restaurant, you're a burger joint, you can use these apps, the technology, obviously the app, the labor that you're getting someone to come in to help you deliver the orders, or you can use apps like InstaWork to actually get someone to come in just for a day to just do a few hours. Like those are advantages, but also they could be exploited, right? What Kim was saying, where there's jobs that were normally for W-2 employee that you had to pay benefits, you had to make sure it was a long-standing relationship. The people now, business can leverage now, as they do every time we get a DoorDash order. How low can we put this for someone to take it? How low can we put this for $2.75 to go a couple miles and someone takes it? Because you would, you can't legally do that with a W-2. There's minimum wage, there's a lot of situations that you can't do that. But with the gig economy, it could be a fine line. And it depends on who you are, where your situation is, your threshold, what you value more, freedom, flexibility, or stability, or consistency, right? And some of these companies can take advantage of that. But yeah, I would believe all those. Now, inflation, I don't know how it helps inflation. Like I mean, Gary, you're smart. Maybe you explain the inflation one. But in terms of tech and labor, I can see it helps businesses. And for us as independent contractors, we have to leverage our abilities and skills too, not taking those bad offers, find the best apps. Like we have to kind of operate the way the businesses are, always looking for profit, looking for ways to, I wouldn't say exploit, but game the system, right? Multi-apping is gaming the system to a certain extent, right? I think those things are important. But Gary's really smart. He's going to explain to me how it helps with inflation with these okay, back to you, Gary.
What I was gathering from the article about the inflation part, it's saying that more gig workers are going to keep transitioning into full-time gig work versus the little bit that they do now. And so when that happens, because demand is going to go down as far as the jobs, that the company is going to have to raise the cost, I guess, to mitigate to meet their labor demands.
Okay.
So basically, like say if they're paying $10 an hour now, everybody's switching to gig work because they can make 20 plus. Well, they're going to have to raise their prices for their labor in order to get people in the door.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody in here is following Chad still. He actually had a recruiter email him for a job, and he replied to the recruiter, hey, I can make $35 an hour doing gig work, so I'm not going to accept a cubicle job that's paying less than that.
Yeah. Companies have to pay more money to get the best talent through the door. I guess that kind of helps, but I just feel like eventually, if we all do these apps, then is it possible that the 35 may go down to 30 and 30 to 25 because everyone is doing it? Then does the businesses get back their leverage of saying, hey, we're going to have you able to consistently make this much money, and we'll give you benefits, and you don't have to drive your car into the ground. Like, I think that's the labor market right now. It's volatile, right? Because there's so many there's so many open jobs, so many open ones, and then no one wants them. How do those businesses get these jobs more attractive to the people who are, either in the job market or they're doing gig work. Paying them more is going to probably be obviously the first thing, but what if they wait it out and see if the gig economy kind of gets into like a saturated place, which it is in certain apps in certain areas, they could get them back to do the W-2 work full time. So I think it's still a fluid situation, in my opinion.
See, I was telling Kim this earlier. If you're working, like, I don't know how much does McDonald's pay in your areas?
I think it's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, 15 is minimum wage. They probably pay more if you do the overnight shift because they always have like night differential. But I think it's $15 to start.
Okay. In Florida, they're paying $17. They're giving you a bus pass, and you can work all the hours you want. And minimum wage in Florida, I think, is like whatever the national minimum wage is.
Florida seems like they got everything going in the right direction.
Oklahoma, I think they're paying. I know they're paying above minimum wage here too. I don't know the exact amount. I've seen their now hiring sign, but I forget right off the bat. But if you're working for minimum wage in any state, and you're at McDonald's, Taco Bell, any of those, why would you not just quit and go do gig work? I mean, very few people.
It makes sense.
I mean,
it makes sense.
To me, gig work, I hate to say it's so much better than a lot of what these companies are paying, which is why it's so enticing to a lot of people doing gig work. So until companies want to put money into investing into some of their employees and their dollar per hours, I feel like it's always going to be top heavy towards gig economy, because what's going to make me as a gig driver give up my $30, $35, sometimes $40 per hour to go work for somebody who is like $19 or even $15 an hour? There's no way any one of us that have like a smart business mindset would actually take a step backward to do that, unless like you really want to take a job in the field that you want to go into.
That's a good point. Yeah, those are good points where you may not have much of a choice. There's different circumstances, but I do believe I agree with you, Kim. A lot of these businesses, a lot of the employers need to take a step back and figure out how can we get, many of these people to come back. And before this, I think if you ask the average person, they do not like their job. I think many people hate their job. That's a very strong word, but I really think there's so many other issues. Either it's the culture, or there's no room for advancement, or there's just a number of situations of bad management. I think a lot of it's poor middle managed, not well trained. They have a lot of issues there, so it's like a lot of dynamics. So it's they're going to have to take a serious look at the gig model and say, how can we use some of this model and put it in a W-2 in a way where you can provide some level of flexibility. And I don't know, there's a lot of jobs that can't do that, right? I understand that. But if you want to get people to come back, they're going to have to make some significant changes. The only jobs I've seen that have tons of, options and amenities is usually you got to be really, really highly skilled at your whatever you're trying to do. Doctor, lawyer, coder. Like I've looked at some stuff on how much Google pays for Dev 1, Dev 2. They have different levels. They're getting $300,000 a year with all these benefits, stock options. They're still doing W-2. They're not stopping and doing gig work. They're looking for those jobs because they are highly skilled individuals. And Apple and Amazon and Google, they're very aggressive on giving them the best packages to take to get the best talent. But for the rest of us, well, not you, Gary, but you're good. We gotta kind of figure it out on our own and do other things. So we'll see how it happens.
That's like everybody's like, yeah, except for Gary. Like, I work hard, Hannibal.
No, I'm saying you.
But you're super smart. I think that's what Hannibal's saying. You're super smart, and you can be one of those people.
Yeah, you've been offered. I'm sure you can take a 6-figure job right now, but you won't. Right? Like now, if I was able to get a 6-figure job, I'll probably take it. Like Kim, if you had a 6-figure job coming,
it's stressful though. What? Kim, would you take a job if you could get 6 figures? Would you take the job?
Full time, 40 hours, 6 figures.
I'll be honest, I had that and I gave it up. So I feel like I'm going backwards on what I would be saying. So to me, I think that kind of going back to the article and what I've learned through the pandemic is sometimes the quality of family and work-life balance doesn't equal any money in the world sometimes. And that's kind of what I learned through all of this. Like, I feel like I now have the best of both worlds. I have my family, I have time with people I want to, that I love, and I get to go out and work whenever I want to work. So to me, it would have to be a really, it would have to be up there for me to kind of go back to W-2 at this point.
See, a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, if I could get a 6-figure job, I'd go do it. Until you actually get that 6-figure job. Because not every 6-figure job is a great job.
It's stressful. Like the stress and the amount of time I put into it and the amount of time I was away from my family. Like, I wouldn't see my daughter for weekends because I worked in retail and retail is working weekends. Like, it's like, when do you stop and not realize like how much stress and pressure I was under to perform every single day? You don't realize that until like you're taken away from the environment and like you're like, what was I thinking through that whole entire thing? And sometimes that's worth taking a step back and going, wow, I'm really at the right place right now in order to do this.
See, I would have to say, for me to go back to an actual W-2 job, it would definitely have to be 6 figures, or something major would have to force me into it. But if it's 6 figures, that 6 figure needs to be like, I don't know, a 2, a 3, a 4.
A little high. A little high.
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be high enough that I know I can work it for, let's say 5-10 years and become a millionaire.
Right.
Because if not, because I'm gonna give up so much freedom, and people don't realize this. I'm 42, so 10-20 years, that's a lot of time that I could be doing a lot of other stuff.
Right.
If you're 20, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. But as you get older, you realize that your time is very valuable. It's very important. I don't want to work till I'm 65 going, oh yeah, I paid off my house. Who cares?
Yeah. and a lot of people who have decided to leave lucrative jobs. A lot of YouTube videos I've seen a lot of them about leaving. Like, I left my 6-figure job and here's why. And those are very important points. And I think it really depends on where you are in your life and your situation and your work, your drive, in terms of like what is important to for you, like what you need to do, what makes you happy. And like what Kim's saying, a lot of people are reevaluating that right now. So like the gig economy is like the hot thing right now, but let's see how that changes. It's a fluid dynamic. There's legislation that can change. There's the apps that can change. So nothing stays static. And like I said in the last a couple minutes ago, we'll see where it goes. But so far, like I said, talking to you guys are happy in your situations. But I still like to give you the what if scenarios every once in a while, to see what you think. Like Kim said, I will literally do Instacart, or literally avoid Instacart at all costs. I'll deliver drugs.
She'll do an alcohol order over Instacart.
Yeah, at least an alcohol will actually pay you money.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think a lot of it depends on the person's situation at the time. One thing, this is actually from your video. I also think it's depending on how much money you have.
Mm-hmm.
If I've learned this in the gig economy. If you don't save your money, then you're probably going to have a very hard time in the gig world. If you're just instant cashing out every day that you get money and you're spending that money, then you have nothing to show for it when you're at the end of the week. You're going, where'd all my money go?
Yeah.
Kind of like what you just posted on that video today. Savings.
Yeah, the key for I think I've noticed this because I was a terrible saver and I spent too much money. Your behavior dictates a lot of your financial success, your personal finance success. It's not necessarily being the smartest investor, knowing when who's going to be the next Instacart. Don't, you're probably not going to lose. You're going to lose money if you do that. But the next Amazon, right? The next Apple. It's not like being a genius investor. It's really having a really good behavior. Like your behavior, you're not overspending. You're saving more than you spend, or you're investing in the correct way. You have self-control. Because when I was, I was even 10 years ago, had no self-control. Like I spend. Like if I had it, it was in buying the things that made me happy, for a while. It's those behaviors really dictate your success, where you don't have to struggle to make that, do the 6-figure job and not see your family if you save and appropriate your funds in a responsible way. So yeah, you're right. Like if you're in a bad spot and your bills, you're behind your credit card bills, you're behind in your car payment, then you're gonna have to work extra hard and be more stressed out and be overwhelmed. So your behavior and how you handle your finances is a big factor in what you decide to do with the times of work and stuff like that.
Yeah, if it wasn't, I'll be honest, like if it wasn't for like the other stuff I have, it would be a lot harder doing gig work. Like I have a Robinhood account, I have savings. Like I feel like, yeah, at least for me, it made me much more business minded, and it made me think about saving and budgeting and all that stuff in a completely different way. But if I didn't already have like the 401ks and the Robinhood accounts that I have, like it would definitely be a tougher process out there than what I do currently right now.
Yeah, I found that once I started having a little bit of a nest egg, that whenever I worked, it wasn't so stressful, because it's not like oh, electricity's $300. I have to make $300 a day. I have to make, and then you hit 150, and you're just super stressed out, and then you over work yourself because you're trying to hit this money mark that you just obviously ain't going to hit that day. Right. And so then that just ruins the rest of your week because you're stressed out already. So like Nova Dash said, budgeting is key, and I see it on Facebook groups all the time. People, was it? Here's the bad part. I don't even know what days the apps do the deposits because I don't really pay attention to them. And so, but I see people on there. They're like, "Oh, my deposit wasn't there this morning. I need my deposit." I'm like,
many of us are a paycheck away from being homeless. Like a lot of us are like a couple of bad days. Even a W-2, like a few, like they don't have that emergency nest egg. They don't have, just enough to pay maybe rent for 6 months. Like most of us are literally this close, and a lot of it is based on your behavior. Like I live in the hood, so I'm walking by and I'll be in the project somewhere, and they got the latest everything, sneakers, nice phone better than mine. It's like there's certain behaviors and decisions we make that puts us in these really bad situations. Now, not all the time. There's sometimes it's circumstances that we cannot foresee or can't control. But a lot of it is based. It helps. But you're helping Gary's budget by you budgeting.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I appreciate you budgeting to help my budget.
Yeah, so it's a good cycle. But yeah, you're gonna get in, and also things happen, right? Like a situation. My car can have a problem. Not on wood. I have a problem and I have to put money in there. Now, if I have the money saved, then I got to go and hustle and kind of freak out on that. But if I had the money, yeah, it's annoying. It's still stressful. Like that money was in my account. Now it's gone into the car. But at least I can still go on with my day. I'm not, it's not a disaster. And I think a lot of people have this financial like uncertainty, especially, there's, I think today they officially said second quarter GDP went down. But I guess Biden is still not calling it a recession. Who knows at this point? There's a lot of uncertainty financially with millions and millions of people.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad, and he's worked for the U.S. government for 30 something years now. Last year, his accountant or whoever handles his 401k and all that stuff said, "Oh, since you're close to retirement, you really should switch it to this type of investing." Blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's lost so much money off that.
Oh
He,
damn.
he's like he's like if it didn't come back in the next 4 years, he will have to probably extend his retirement by another 4 to 5 years.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's tough.
it's crazy. And so, but of course he does the smart thing. He still budgets. Even though his house is paid off, his cars are paid off, he still budgets. He has a limited for electricity. He makes sure all that comes right out of the paycheck, goes into a bank account, and he doesn't touch it. And I think that's the smartest way to go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So let's start wrapping this up. I told the wife we'd go get some ice cream after this live stream.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
An
Yeah.
anniversary ice cream.
Yes,
That sounds amazing,
yes.
actually.
Yeah, there's a
It's
place
like-
2 doors down.
In Gary's IG, you're not going to get any coding
No.
tips or coding pictures or him on a computer. You see delicious food and
Yeah.
lovely attractions. That is Gary's
Yes.
IG.
Instagram. Yeah.
You look at Instagram, you look at food that looks good and places that look nice. I don't think he mentions coding once. Have you have any coding post?
No. I've like very very long ago. I think when DOH first came out,
Okay.
I put a DOH post up. Of course, my bio on there does have links to my apps.
Yeah.
But other than that, my actual picture post, yeah, you're right. I don't do any gig work on there. I don't do any coding work. I don't mention any of that stuff. It's all normal, everyday things,
Family
food.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, food,
adorable
attractions,
grandson.
vacations. Yeah, my grandson's on
Oh,
there.
He's so darn
Yeah. I mean, you kind of get to see what I'm doing without all the gig work stuff.
Good,
You know.
because we got separated a little bit. Sometimes we are in that world, but there's other things going on, more important things, obviously our family and stuff like that. So,
Well,
That's-
I
that's
just
good.
figure between YouTube and all these creators, there's enough gig work talk. Somebody needs to learn how to relax.
yeah, look at this ice cream. Yeah, look at this
Yeah.
waffles I got here. Like this is more interesting, isn't it? Like, yeah, you're right. It's way more interesting than dealing with how all these apps.
It is. Would you rather see me post? Oh look, DoorDash 275 order, or look at this nutty peanut butter whatever I'm eating.
I hear that.
So, Hannibal, we know what you're going to be doing this weekend. So you're going to be driving to Gig Conference, hanging out with
Yeah.
me and all these other great people.
Can't wait to see you, bro. I know, Kim. I know you learned to go, but you have other more important things to take on. But the way Pedro is talking, he's gonna go to a different spot next year. So hopefully you'll jump in that in that situation. But it's gonna be a lot.
I
Hopefully
wish I
it's
was
not in
there.
Hannibal's neighborhood. Hopefully it's not in Hannibal's neighborhood.
You probably don't
We've
want to.
heard about
Yeah,
that
that's.
neighborhood.
You probably don't want to do that. I would not recommend that. Be a lot of fast food around here, but in terms of the accommodations, it won't be ideal.
It'd be good if it
So,
was on
Kim-
the East Coast.
Since you know what we're going to be doing this weekend, Kim, are you doing anything exciting besides working?
No, yes, I'm going to be working a little bit, but I had family obligations prior to all this stuff happening. So, yeah, family time and work in between. So that's kind of my weekend.
And
Nice.
at some point on this weekend, are you going to fix the crooked light yet?
Oh, can you stop it? It's just because my camera is crooked, not that it's crooked on the wall. I keep telling you that.
I know. I just like to mention it. So, I think that wraps it up for our show, unless somebody's got something else to add.
No, I gotta get going.
Yeah. Everybody's got to drive.
Yeah, we gotta drive. We gotta see Steve. I hope Steve is doing well wherever he's in Kansas, whatever he's doing. But
Eating corn, sitting in a field. Bubba's calling his name. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.
I'll see you guys soon.
So, all right, everybody. See you soon. Later.
Later.